The wayside, right, is the first one. This was the pathway. You know, the farmer wouldn't plow there. Therefore, it remained very hard. The path alongside the field, right? This is where the farmer would walk, and day after day, year after year, he would trample on that soil. He would harden it. Be hardened, and there would be some seed that falls on that, but Satan would just come and snatch it away. That's the truth. So you see the truth. Here's the story. This, and everybody understood this pathway. You guys all understand that, and the truth alongside that is that's the way some people's hearts are. And the birds of the air come and snatch the seed, and that's Satan who snatches the seed out of our hearts. And some people in life, they feel like they're trampled on, don't they? You might feel like you're trampled on. And when you get trampled on, when things don't go your way, there's a tendency in all of us to become a little bit hard about it. To become hard-hearted. Why did that happen to me? Why me? I feel like I got walked on again. I'm a little bit more hard now. My heart's a little bit harder, you know. We have to be careful. The world will trample us down and harden our hearts. We need to guard our hearts personally. And we can. We can. We don't have to allow situations in life to get us to the point of hardness and bitterness. Right? Things happen. Things happen in life. And the things that happen, they have really just two things that can take place in your life. One of them, if something doesn't go your way, you can let that draw you from God, keep you from God. Satan would love to put a wedge between you and God through an experience that he can allow, you know, a little bit of bitterness or a little bit of anger to enter your heart, to drive a wedge between you and God. Or those things that happen to you, it's your choice. You can let those things draw you to God for the help that you need. Too many times we blame God on the things that happen to us. Men maybe have trampled us. Men maybe have hurt us. And then we say, well, God allowed it. So then we blame it on God. And our hearts become hard towards Him. It's your choice. Will you allow that hardship in your life to draw you to God or to keep you from Him? Hosea chapter 10 verse 12. Sow for yourselves righteousness, reap in mercy. Break up your fallow ground or your hard ground. For it is time to seek the Lord till He comes and rains righteousness on you. Break up your hard heart. There's suffering in this room today. There's hardships represented in this room today. There are hard hearts represented in this room today. And God wants you to break it up. Break up. Soften your heart towards Him. Let Him do the work, in your heart. He'll take care of the rest. Seek Him and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Don't concentrate on everything else. Just concentrate on Him, your relationship with Him. Sow in righteousness. It's time to seek the Lord. How do you do that? If I'm speaking to you, if God is speaking to you and you have a hard heart, something has happened and you've let that kind of creep in where there's maybe a little bitterness and a little hardness that's starting to take place. What do you do? What's the cure for that? It's what he just says. It's time to seek the Lord. When I've got to that place in my life, you know, there was always a point when I came to my senses. And then the response was, it's time to seek the Lord. And sometimes you have to pray, and sometimes you have to pray and fast and seek the Lord to break up that fallow ground, that hardness in your heart. Satan wants to keep you hard so that the Word of God just lays on the surface and it doesn't penetrate, and he can just snatch it off. The Word of God is going forth, and Satan's desire is that it will find a hard heart, that it will just lay there, and then he can snatch it away before it penetrates and can produce fruit. That's what was happening in our story, in the backdrop with the contention for the Christ. These guys were hardening their heart, and it wasn't penetrating, and Satan was coming and snatching it away. Jesus is now preaching in parables. To those who want to seek it out, you can find this truth. It's for you. Some people don't want it, and they're going to just remain in the situation that they are. Which one are you? Who are you in this story? You know, break up the fallow ground. If you have somebody in your life who resembles this, that you're preaching to, maybe a family member that you know that is hard, what do you do? We need to understand their situation. We need to understand what Satan is attempting to do in their lives so that we can combat it on that level. 2 Corinthians 4 verses 3 and 4 says, but even if our gospel is veiled, it is veiled or, covers to those who are perishing, whose minds the God of this age has blinded, who do not believe, lest the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine on them. Right? Pray for those who are blind. Engage in warfare. Fight for them in prayer. Pray that God removes the blinders that Satan, the God of this age, has placed over their eyes. They're blind to the truth, and you've shared the truth. They just don't understand it. Well, what do? You have to pray. You have to pray, some aerial support. Soften that heart up through some prayers, that God would send some bombs to soften up that heart. Pray that God opens the eyes of the blind.